5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You stare out of your window as you take off on a rocket ship from Earth. The ship beneath you burns with the power of 1,000 SAR bombs, built to chase the edge of light. Your home, broken and burning, dwindles to a memory behind you. In 1.3 seconds you reach the moon. 3 minutes and you've reached Mars. 8 minutes and the light you emit will take as long to reach Earth as the sun does. 35 minutes to Jupiter. 4.5 hours and you pass Pluto. At this point in a cross-country flight, your window seat neighbor would be crawling over you to go to the restroom because they decided to drink a gallon of water during the flight. In a week you will pass Voyager 1, the hopeful message sent into deep space in our primitive days, a time capsule we created before the infinite amount of stories we've created since. Before we learned to travel near the speed of light, before we fucked up our planet and society so bad that we launched people into space in a last-ditch effort that they'll land somewhere. Anywhere, really. After 1 month of travel, it's your mother's birthday, October 12th. You didn't forget this year. At this point in your trip, you've reached the Oort Cloud, a vast spherical shell that lies beyond the orbit of the planets. It is not bound to the neat planar paths like the planets of our solar system, but hangs like a loose halo around the sun. Here floats countless frozen bodies, silent and forgotten. When disturbed, they fall inward, blazing briefly as comets before burning away themselves, a graveyard at the edge of home, where even ice waits for its turn to die. 6 months in and you're still in the icy graveyard. You're beyond your neighborhood now. The unending days pass you by. Earth was like living in small-town Kansas. This feels like the New York City megapolis. You float about with the bodies, but where the bodies are lifeless, you're full of hope. Hope your journey will yield something. Hope that you will be reconnected to someone or something soon. All you have are the whimpers of faint radio signals, static white noise. The signals telling you we're not extinct yet. Another 6 months pass. Congrats on your 1-year anniversary and your 25th birthday. You can finally rent a car now, if you weren't 5.78 trillion miles from Earth. You have finally left the Oort Cloud. In your 4th year, you reach the closest star to Earth, Alpha Centauri. Through your 30s, you will be inundated with an array of new stars lighting up your ship's windows. Red dwarfs, white dwarfs, and young K stars. When you pass Alpha Centauri, you see thousands of ships like yours, slowly orbiting Proxima b. What was our best shot at finding a new hope? A planet similar in size, atmosphere, and distance from its sun. We sent out millions of ships in the years before you, all aimed to orbit and land on the planet. Again, in the hope that we can establish ourselves here. By the time you were launched, things were so bad that they were throwing ships into space as quickly as possible with anyone who would sign up. You knew this was going to be a fruitless journey. Upon Proxima b, you didn't pick up any radio signals. You didn't have high hopes to begin, but now the doubt is confirmed. Not a peep from the orbiting ships. The next 70 or so years look bleak now. This was really the only thing that kept you sane before you entered your 30s. That hope that came with the grain of a vision reconnecting with another person. But that vision, however faint, has been dashed away by the blow of reality's soft wind. Now what? Another 6 months go by. Another October 12th. Your mom would have been 60 today. You were the exact age she was when she had you. You forgot her last 6 birthdays when you were still on Earth. You were busy with school, work, and partying your early 20s away. You thought you had infinite birthdays to make it up to her. But you haven't missed one since you said goodbye 5 years ago. I guess because you don't know what you had until it was no longer an option. Year 10. The sun has slipped from its throne. What once blazed as the center of your world is now only one flicker among thousands, a single ember lost in the dark ocean of stars. The Big and Little Dipper, Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, have been distorted. You know where they are because you've watched them day after day for 10 years now. Your view of the constellations is no longer the one your ancestors were confined to. But you wouldn't know any better. They look the same as they did yesterday. Year 36. You passed Denebola, the brightest star in Leo, the one your horoscope once claimed as your own. She kept you going all these years. It was supposed to be magical, but it's meh. Because you have seen thousands of new stars up close and personal. This is just another one of those. But she was supposed to be different. You were to have a universal bond with her or whatever. Why do you feel so empty? Today you are 124 years old. However, your body is only 39 due to special relativity. Your body and the perception of time are dilated, and you age 7.09 times slower than the time on Earth. You're the living embodiment of dog years you used to clamor on about as a kid to anyone who would listen. You spent the last 100 years traveling on a ship to nowhere, yet you've been everywhere you could possibly travel to, nearly 100 light years from Earth. But really, you haven't moved in the grand scheme of the universe. The Milky Way is 10,000 light years in diameter. You barely moved to Nebraska. New York City and all the stars you imagined to be the Big Apple were nothing but a red dot in the rushing waters of the Missouri River. But today is a big day. Because you hurtle forward away from Earth, you inch forward through Earth's radio timeline, extremely slow. Though it's been crawling, it has been receding. The radio waves you hear are exactly 1 year from your departure today. Of course, this faint whisper has been the static white noise, but at least a noise of life to keep you company. But just like that, silence. You know something happened on Earth. Our short 200 years of speaking to the stars has stopped. Maybe it was an intentional choice made by the machines that took over, a decision to stop exposing ourselves to the universe. Or maybe there is no speaking at all, and there is nothing left of us on Earth. For 100 years, the faint hiss was your only tether, proof that somewhere life still burned. And then one day, nothing. Anything could have happened. Schrodinger's Earth. Life is both extinct and alive in the universe. You truly are alone now, for the deafening silence pierces you. True absolute loneliness pressure cooking you. No other human could know what this is. They can't know what it is like to no longer have any possible contact or knowledge of connection, something your ancestors never had a chance to face. The vast emptiness that lies ahead, lined with the brightness of a sea of stars, is dark. Was it worth it? You saw nothing, you accomplished nothing other than remembering your mother's birthday for 100 straight years. For maybe the experience was worth it. You saw everything, and because you can tell no one, it's as if you saw nothing.